Here we are, Tuesday night elevation episode number 20. John, how you doing today, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good. Excited to be here. Welcome back, Gavin. I know it's been a few shows since you've been here, and just excited to be here tonight. Excited to talk up this next show coming up, and it's going to be a wild one.
Yeah, we're coming off of the last show, which was one hell of a show, John. I mean, that place was packed. We had Steve Sowers, friends and family all coming him make his debut in the ring. He is the president of the fire hall, John. It was just pandemonium through there, but man, what a great night. It was just amazing.
Yeah, great night. And of course, now we are on the road to the Holy Grail, and we have already had people qualifying for the Holy Grail. Last show, we saw three qualifiers, and, it was a great night. Seeing CEO qualifying and AK Bain, the Holy Grail is just shaping up to be one heck of a tournament. So definitely not something that you're going to want to miss.
Yeah, you just mentioned these three participants that have already qualified. I mean, you have two former heavyweight champions in there, and then you have Sean Cannon, which is a former Mid Atlantic champion and former tag team champion. Like, the deck's already getting stacked, man. Like, Holy Grail is already shaping up to be an amazing show with fantastic participants. It always is. It's always one of my favorite shows of the year. Just excited to see who else is going to qualify.
Yeah, and Donnie and I, we recapped the last show. So if you didn't get to see those qualifying matches and you didn't get to see the last WDWA show, you definitely want to go back and check it out. It was full of action and you don't want to miss it. And the place to check that out is on Frontline. Frontline every Thursday night, 8 p.m. on YouTube. Wild Patriot 22. Juan does one heck of a job producing that. And, so check it out. You'll hear Dashing Donnie Diablo, myself, you know, you'll hear Steve Netz from time to time, and a few others may pop in from time to time. You never know, but be sure to check it out.
That's right. Every Thursday night, 8 p.m., give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share. Like John said, our man Juan over there is killing it, with everything he's doing over there. So very proud of him, very proud of the show. He just had that all women's introduction. That was kind of sweet, man, for coming off our all women's show not too long ago. But Juan's always cooking up new stuff. He has a new theme song for Frontline. If anybody hasn't heard it, go check it out. Just really cool stuff. Big things going on over that way. But John, here we are, brother. Like, we're talking WDWA. We're talking elevation, man. But we know that WDWA is teamed up with Wrestle Talk Podcast. What's going on over there with Wrestle Talk Podcast, brother?
We just came off of a show where we had a fantasy draft, basically, where Luke and Joey they discussed who would they trade from what promotions to another promotion or from one show to another show, and did it kind of like a draft. So,
Is this
that
with
that was a great show.
WWE stars, or who's this with?
It was WWE, TNA. I believe they talked some New Japan. They did stars from all different promotions. So it was a great show. So be sure to go back and check that out on Facebook or YouTube. For Wrestle Talk podcast, and then this or next Tuesday, I should say, it will be myself and Gabriel Larson. We'll be back. We'll have another great guest on there for you. Still getting the name confirmed, so don't want to drop it too soon before we get everything confirmed. But another great guest coming. Be sure to tune in. Check us out. You know, at we start at we just changed the start time. It's 6:50. No, 7:50 Eastern, 6:50 Central. So be sure to check us out every other Tuesday night, and we just have a great time over there. So I think we've got a little thing here for Wrestle Talk as well.
Yeah, very cool stuff over there, guys. I know John was a little mixed up with the time and stuff like that, which I get it. I've always messed up elevations time and everything when I talk, so I know how it is. But if you guys have any questions, reach out to John Hoss himself. Check out Wrestle Talk Podcast on Facebook and social media sites, YouTube, everything like that. And good things happening over there. I saw you guys recently had Alex Taylor over there, who is currently wrestling for NWA. WDWA just had him in not too long ago. What an amazing talent that was. Hope to have him back one day. He was great. John, big guest tonight, buddy. One of the heart and soul of WDWA. He's been around here for a handful of years. He is one of the biggest faces of the company. He's our center guy. He's front and center all the time for every single show. I like to call him the voice of WDWA. He is the MC of WDWA. Can't wait to have Luke McCarran on. You excited, John?
Definitely. Luke, he's a great guy. I love talking to Luke. I talk to him at the shows. I talk to him online, and just always a great guy to talk to. So looking forward to getting him on, and it's an opportunity for you guys to learn more about Luke, because you guys only see the one dimension of Luke, there in the ring. So
yeah, very nice to have him on. I know he was excited to come on when we reached out to him. We've been wanting to have him on for quite some time. You know what, John? Let's not even wait anymore, man. Let's go ahead and bring him in right now. Give it up, guys. The man, the voice of WDWA, the MC of WDWA, the main guy, Luke McCarran.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody
going on, Luke? Thanks for coming on, brother. I'm digging the spinny thing shirt, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Yep. I'm actually got more coming in here very soon, so gonna have some for the next show. So had some people prepay and pre-order, and had some pre-orders. So I'm like, go ahead and go get yourself a nice spinny thing shirt.
It's it's so funny how sometimes things just happen. You just happen to say it in the ring one time, and now the fans will never let you live it down, and now you're making money off of it. So how freaking cool is that?
It's funny because it was an accident. It happened by an whole accident.
Yeah, Luke, always a pleasure, buddy, man. Like, I know we've gone back a handful of years here. As the owner of WDWA, man, I love having you there. I love having you be the voice. You're an amazing human being outside of it, which makes working with you such a pleasure. And just happy to have you on here tonight.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on here tonight too. So I'm very excited.
Well, John, I could talk all day, man. Before I get started, anything you want to talk with Luke about?
Luke, like say you and I, we talk a lot, and, I've gotten to know you pretty decent, outside of the ring, but, a lot of people know that you're a NASCAR fan and everything. So what's something about Luke McCarron that other people may not know?
Oh man, that's tough. I mean, I've been getting into F1 a little bit. I will say that. Don't really talk much about Formula One, but I've been kind of getting into it lately. I just love racing. I love NASCAR. Oh my God, someone who was that? Matt? Oh man, someone wants a purple suit. Okay.
Ask and you shall receive.
But no, that's a good question, John. There's a lot of things I have about myself, and it's just like I'm trying to think what's a good one to talk about. It's just like so many things. I like wrestling. I like NASCAR. I used to announce for Spring Mills back. That's where I first started before I came to WDWA. And I bowl. Let's talk about bowling.
All right.
Yeah.
What's
So
your average?
So I actually bowl duck pin. I don't know if anybody
Nice.
knows about duck pin bowling. So not
It's
a lot. It's definitely hard. It's definitely challenging. But I've been bowling duck pin for about 13 years now. I've been bowling since I was in like the 6th grade.
Oh wow! So are you currently on any leagues or anything?
Yeah, so I bowl every Wednesday night at Southside Bowl in Hagerstown. Real fun. Have a good time. I bowl some tournaments on Sundays. I got some tournaments actually coming up. Got a tournament down at AMF Southwest for their Southwest Sunday tournament. They got a big strike ball pot on the line, and what else here? And then there's a doubles tournament I'm bowl with one of my partners on Wednesday night. His name's Randy. Him and I we're gonna go bowl a tournament down at Southside Bowl in Hagerstown. They're it's like the first ever like doubles tournament. It's like $1,000 for like the first place team. It's
nice.
That one, and then I got the national.
Buy a purple suit with that.
I don't know if I could bowl in a suit. I usually bowl with shorts and a shirt.
I said $1,000 will get you that purple suit.
Oh yeah. 100%. Heck, that strike ball pot on the 22nd of March is gonna get me more than that if I get my ticket drawn. Right now it's at like 7,000 right now, so like it's just insane. That's nice. Just going into the tournament, so it's insane. And then I got a national tournament coming up for duck pen toward the end of the season, so I can't wait for that too. It's a 2-week event. It's kind of weird because you can go bowl like any time throughout those 2 weekends, and then they take whoever's the highest score. So it's definitely a fun tournament. It's one tournament I've been trying to win for a while. I should have won the state tournament the year COVID hit. I say I'm like the uncrowned like state champion of Maryland duck pen because I was so motivated for that tournament. I was having my best season that year, and then the pandemic hit, and then they shut everything down, and they canceled the state and the national tournament. I was upset. So upset that I ended up shaving my head. Yeah, I actually went full bald. I was that depressed that year. But yeah, no, that national tournament coming up at White Oak Lanes in Silver Spring. That's where the host. That's where the
Oh,
host
wow.
is, and I'm really excited for that one. I'm hoping. I think I got a shot this year. So let's hope and pray that I can freaking go out there if I can bring home a state championship. I mean, national championship. Yeah, national champion. This is a national thing. It's the big thing. So, so I'm really excited for that one.
We wish you luck, buddy.
All right, thank you, thank you.
You get to the national championship, and you're gonna have to have a special bowling shirt made with WDWA across the back of it. You know.
Oh yeah, don't problem. Eventually, I know there's some tournaments. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna rep a WDWA shirt. And I do sometimes on Wednesday night. I actually wore this shirt actually the other week.
Nice.
Yeah, so
That's
cool.
so cool, man.
Yeah.
So I've got to meet your mom. I've got to meet your dad. I know you say your brother's in the military. Like, did you grow up watching wrestling, man? Like, were you always a fan?
So I got into the wrestling really late. I was in like the 4th grade when I first got into it. My brother got me into it. He started like playing. Like, he had these like wrestling figures, and I started collecting wrestling figures, and then he used to have this game on the PSP. I don't know if you know anybody remembers the PSP back in the day. He used to have it's like the Nintendo Switch version of the PlayStation, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he used to have a SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. He used to always play that thing. I'm like, Jake, what are you playing? He's like, I'm playing WWE. I'm like, okay. And I was watching and playing. I'm like, I need to start getting. Then we put on some SmackDown one night at my grandparents' house, and we watched that. And I just kind of got into it. I think that main event that night, I believe, was Randy Orton versus Christian. I think it was in a no DQ. I can't remember. But like I said, I got into it in like late 2011. So I really wish I got into it back in the day. I will say that but I was always the NASCAR guy in the household. So I mean, I still kind of am. That's all I ever watched was NASCAR because I just love NASCAR. So
You have a favorite driver?
So all-time favorite is Jeff Gordon, the real GOAT of NASCAR. I probably might get some backlash on that one because a lot of people think Dale Sr. is the GOAT, and I totally disagree with those people. Love Earnhardt, but I don't think he's the GOAT. And the other one, but my favorite current driver now is Kyle Larson. He drives for Hendrick too. He's actually the defending champion. Of course, yeah, Cry River, Jeff Gordon, he rules.
So you mentioned you got into wrestling, off the PSP and playing as a fan.
Yeah.
Did you have any favorite wrestlers, once you started watching it?
The first one I started liking was actually Wade Barrett.
Oh, nice.
I know. I was honestly shocked. And then I started kind of liking Sheamus a little bit. And then I saw John Cena wrestling, and I'm just like, I had a couple favorites, but I always rooted for like Cena, CM Punk, Sheamus was actually a fun wrestler to root for back in the day. He still kind of is too. I mean,
Yeah.
I liked his one match against Gunther at a Clash at the Castle. That was probably one of my favorite matches. What's your all's favorite match of all time? I'm actually curious on this one.
Wow, that's a very hard question for me.
Give me like a top 3 if you have.
Oh man.
If you go.
It's so hard.
It's okay.
A couple that are just sticking out right now would be I love I think it was Great American Bash 1990. It was the Young Pistols versus the Midnight Express. To me, that was one of the best tag team matches that I've ever seen. Man, there's so many.
Yeah.
Like some old Terry Funk, you know.
Okay.
It's very hard for me, man. My fandom like stretches over like multiple continents and multiple years. I would say like some of my most like inspirational ones, you know, like growing up. I loved it when it was Sting and Luger versus Steiner Brothers. I thought that was a big hit for me when I was growing up. I loved you know, I was a big Bret Hart fan, so you know, Bret Hart versus Piper, or Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, or I always loved you know, the Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. But yeah, man, John, what about you, man? Because I could, man, my list goes on and on.
Yeah, see that's me too. I just have a hard time picking any matches as being my favorite. I mean, I've been a wrestling fan for years, you know, since I was little, and you know, Susie used to take me to wrestling matches at the Capitol Center,
Yeah,
and
Capitol Center.
you know, most people don't even know where that is anymore, and so I mean that's I've seen so many different matches, and I can't pick one. I tell you, but I'll tell you one of my favorite memories though. Um, we had gone to a match one time, and we were only a couple rows from the ring, and Steve Blackman was in the ring, and I yelled at him. I said, "You suck, Blackman!" And he turned and looked at me, and he started telling me, "Get your big ass in here! Come on, you want to go?" And I actually tried to climb the railing. I was going across, and this little security guard that
Not
only
smart.
came up to about my chest, you know. He's sitting there, "Sir, please sit down, sir." They finally came out.
Imagine that.
They finally came out and escorted Blackman to the back until they made him go to the back. I was going across. He invited me in.
That would have been bad news for you, Hoss.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Blackman's a badass, man. I would not mess with that guy.
So,
Yeah, like it's so hard because everybody asks me that all the time. Like I grew up watching a lot of Japan, like you know a lot of like Michinoku Pro, a lot of AJPW, NJPW. So it's so hard, man, to figure it out. Like I got different eras, like different favorite wrestlers per era, different matches per era, like you know. So, what about you, Luke? Do you have a favorite match?
So see, I've only liked it for like haven't liked it too long. So I always like to try to stick with the ones that I've watched it like on TV, or I don't count the ones in the past where I go back and watch them.
Yeah.
But so I like who is it called? Who is it? It was Undertaker and Triple H. It was a Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania. That one was a good match to me because I always like how it was like, and like the storytelling. I think with Shawn Michaels as the referee. I thought that was kind of cool too.
Yeah. I remember that.
That was my first WrestleMania I ever watched on TV.
Wow. Youngin.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, that was a cool night. That one was good. I liked the ending. I gotta go back and watch the match a little more, but because I didn't watch it live, because I believe I was announcing that day. I was announcing the steel cage match that day at WDWA, but I still gotta go back and watch it. But I saw the ending, and what I loved about the ending of John Cena's last match was like all the fans were like, just like up on the edge of this. They were up on, and not one single fan was sitting when Cena was stuck in the sleeper hold.
Yeah.
I love the sleeper hold. It's one of my favorite moves in wrestling. It's an MMA move too. So like,
Yeah.
if I were to get in the ring, like, which I don't even plan on doing anytime, but I was actually training for a little bit, then I got hurt. So,
Never say never.
Yeah, never say never. Exactly.
Yeah, see, that was going to be one of my questions was when were we going to see Luke McCarron actually in the ring? I mean, we see these guys bully you around, they snatch the microphones from you. They tell you to get out of the ring. Hell, we've seen them knock you down, rip your jacket in half. I mean, we've seen all this stuff. When are we going to see Luke McCarron actually retaliate against these guys?
Eventually, someone's gonna make me snap one day. I guarantee it.
Yeah, it'd be bad news for them.
And will not be good. Like I said, it takes a lot to get me mad, but when I think to the point where like I'm like to myself, I'll be like, okay, eventually I gotta step up. Like I said, I gotta stop. I'm almost to the point where I'm like, I'm done. I'm sick and tired of being pushed around by these guys that even just like even like shove me around, take the mic from me, and like in a disrespectful way. It's just like it's like I gotta start standing up for myself.
Man.
It's coming. It's coming. Someone's gonna draw me. Someone's gonna push a button on me, and it ain't gonna be good.
Yeah, he's a ticking time bomb, John.
Yeah.
So
Luke, still ticking a little bit, but trust me.
I know the story because you and I talked, but for all the listeners out there, how did you get linked up with WDWA and Andres Suarez?
So it's kind of a cool story actually, because what happened? I know I was actually looking for like some more opportunities to announce somewhere, and I was scrolling through Facebook one day, and I seen the training center, the old training center in Martinsburg, where Custom Creations used to be and all that. And I saw that come up, and I'm like, I saw they were looking for wrestlers to train, managers, referees, and I'm like, what if I ask them about ring announcers? I'm like, worst they can say is no, right?
That's right.
So I messaged the page, and 10 minutes later, I got a response back. He's like, "What are you doing Saturday?" And I'm like, coming in there. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, because what's funny is that I was working at the time I was actually waiting for my schedule, my work schedule for I used to deliver pizza back in around that time. I was a pizza delivery guy, and that was really late. They were sending out the schedule real late, and they told me, I said, I'm not coming in Saturday because I said I kind of want this opportunity, so I kind of want to go in there and try out. It was a taping that we did. It's back in December. They didn't really have there weren't any fans there, but they were. But what's funny is that I don't think they never none of those matches ever got put on there. So like it's not. It is what it is. But but I'll tell you what was cool about it was he's like I'm gonna keep. He's wanted to go with me, and April 10th hit. COVID, everything started to reopen a little bit. I remember when my first show, like I was nervous coming out to that ring. I'll be honest with you. When him and Danica, I believe it was him and Danica, they introduced me out to the ring, and I'm like, because Danica was working. She was a backstage she was an interviewer at the time. Yep. I don't think she was reffing. They always had. I think they had Billy reffing. I think they had somebody. I think they had Joe reffing. I think they had somebody else too. I forget who it was. Oh no, it was Richie. It was Richie White.
Yeah, Richie White.
It was Richie White. They had him reffing too, and that happened, and they introduced me. I'm like backstage. I'm like, I don't know how this crowd's gonna react. Cause I'm like, how's this crowd? Like, I was nervous. I mean, I think I remember a little bit where I was just like in that ring where I froze a little bit, and everybody was okay with me. Everybody was like, like they knew what I was. They knew I was a little nervous. I felt like, and they like they didn't shame on me for it, which I loved it. I thank them for it too.
Yeah, one thing I like about our locker room, it's a very encouraging locker room. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed. There's a lot of locker rooms that are like that. A lot of selfish people and things like that. And I'm very proud of just our locker room, our fans, everybody, because everybody's just pushing each other. And
Yeah.
every opportunity is a learning opportunity, and everybody grows from show to show. So amazing stuff, Luke.
Yeah. No, yeah. So like, I just remember how fun because I was actually before I came to WDW, I was announcing at a Spring Mills High School. I was actually announcing there as a student, and I did football, basketball, wrestling. I did like everything there, and then I forget what happened, but I just like I wanted to kind of go elsewhere, and that's why I went to WDWA, and I was glad, found WDWA on that Facebook page, on that Facebook ad.
Yeah.
If I would have found you guys, man, I don't know what I would have done. There probably wouldn't be no Luke McCarron today in wrestling. So,
Well, we love having you, Luke. One of the things a lot of people don't understand is how much work actually goes into ring announcing. A lot of people think like everybody can do it, but they don't realize how much like research you do on each person, how much you have to memorize, how to take your cues with sound people and everything like that, like where to stand in the ring, where to work the hard can. Like people don't understand how hard your job actually is, So can you give just a little bit of insight on your learning process and just a little bit about how you do your research and build up your I know sometimes you don't use them all the time, but you usually write up cards, before the show and stuff like that. But you just give us a little bit of, how you make your magic.
So, so like I use some, mostly I use Cage Match, but sometimes Cage Match like ain't always like, it's an internet wrestling database. Like I even post the results on there.
I know you do. I appreciate it.
After every show I'm on, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I finally was able to become a team member for them, and at least try to post ones that I see around the area. So it's definitely a lot of multitasking. And I don't, when it comes to Luke McCarron, I ain't that great at multitasking, but like my brain is, like it's getting better at it. Like it's absolutely getting better. Like I'm trained. It's like it's a process. Like it's sometimes when you're not always especially back in the day, I always was a terrible multitasker. But I feel like I've gotten better at it as as you kind of get the experience, and you're working in the ring, you're doing all this stuff, a lot of things you got to remember, and sometimes I forget some things, but but I've gotten a little better with that. But so it's definitely a process. Definitely, if you are looking to at least kind of like become a ring announcer, start taking some you want to even just be an announcer in general, start going to announce at what I did. I used to announce in my high school. Like I literally left marching band to go announce for freshman football. I started off announcing freshman football. I didn't do varsity. I just started from the bottom and worked my way up. And that's what I did. And like I'm still, like it's kind of like hopefully one day I get to kind of go big as a ring announcer. That's my goal. It's my dream. Love to work for a big company one day, like on national basically like world or national television. So like I said, it's definitely a process. But all I gotta say is, for everybody out there that wants to do like what I want to do, just be yourself. I tell people don't even fake a voice. Some people they'll try to have their own announcer voice. I'm up there. I'm just being myself. Like
Yeah, no, I think you're doing a great job, Luke. One of the
Thank
things is that I like about you is you're always asking questions. You're always wanting to learn. You're always wanting to get better. You refuse to stay complacent. And that's one of the things that just makes our collaboration really well, Luke. So I'm very proud of you, man. I'm very proud to have you on the team. I'm very proud of just your constant growth here in WDWA, and you are the center stage to everything. And I'm very happy to have you be that person. I know you've had a lot of opportunities in WDWA to call like the TNA Heavyweight Championship match, and all that stuff. But do you have any what matches sort of stand out from the ones that you've called?
So, some of my favorite matches that I like.
No, some of the ones that were just like honorable to call. Like I said,
Like a big special,
Yeah.
like something that to remember for the rest of my life, basically.
Yeah.
So, I thought what was kind of cool. I definitely, like I said, the TNA World Title. That was probably my biggest one to me. Because a lot of people don't really get to announce the TNA World Heavyweight Title.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. It's definitely an honor. I feel like I truly earned that. Like I feel like I earned it a little. I don't know if I earned it, but I definitely think. I mean, like I said, I really feel like like that was earned. That was a spot earned to be able to call that match. Announced those two guys, Moose, DeMarcus King. I love DeMarcus King. I'm hoping he gets well soon so he can get back in the ring and hopefully, maybe come back and win that heavyweight title.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, what's another one I've announced? I thought the Jacha Pachas was cool because that one was interesting because that title was it's based in Bolivia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Announced the AIWF title a while back. I thought that one was because that one goes all over too.
Yeah.
The Allied Independent Wrestling Federations, that one. Thought that one was a cool one too. But of course, you got the WDWA Heavyweight title. That was cool. That was always the best. That's what I always enjoy. Announcing WDWA, and I love to consider this it's always been my home. Can't think of any other I have a whole list of titles. I keep track of every title I've announced.
Yeah, I thought it was really
every match, every title. I would put wrestlers, tag teams, shows. I think I'm coming up on 135 shows. I think this next show.
Very cool, man.
And a lot of new people on the card. So I had to do some deep research this week. Because at first I'm like I've never even seen these guys. I feel like the one guy, I feel like I've seen one of them, but he looked familiar, but I don't think I've ever announced him. Oh, sorry, I got distracted.
I think some of the highlights, that I love from your career, I thought it was so cool, you announcing, the Headbangers. I thought it was cool you announcing Mr. Anderson. It's
Anderson was fun. That's terrible. I forgot about it. I thought you were talking about mostly championships. I'm thinking championship titles. No, Anderson was a cool one. That one was my favorite one, probably.
Yeah.
That whole I had to drop the mic down.
To drop the mic for him. Yeah,
that was fun. That was fun. He
cool,
was a good guy to talk to as well.
Yeah, very awesome.
Who was another? There are a couple other guys that I've announced.
I know you had Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggle, yeah, he was cool. announced the Sean Hernandez, one of the he was part of the Latin American exchange.
Yep.
Now he was the fun guy to announce, and another one that kind of seems to like shock me, and it'll shock a lot of people is Tony Atlas. I've announced Tony
He's awesome.
Atlas. I've announced Tony Atlas in a tag team match. I believe it was him and ISP versus the father figures.
Yep, I remember. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool.
I remember there was a fun story, cool story I like to tell about Tony when we went. I actually had to drive him to dinner or drive him to lunch, but he wanted to go get something to eat, so I drove him. I was driving. He didn't really like my driving at the time, and I felt really bad about it. But no, what really shocked me was, he was waiting in line. He was ordering. We went to Wingstop. I'm not really the biggest Wingstop guy. I feel like every time I've gotten Wingstop, I feel like the food's always dry. But I'm not trying to shame on Wingstop now, but I remember I had a DoorDash order there. I was waiting for like 40 minutes on the person's order. It was terrible. But like, no offense to Wingstop. Hopefully they've gotten better at their customer service. Like they've gotten better. I'm sure they have. I don't know if they have or not. But I ain't trying to be the food critic here. But
maybe you should have driven Tony Atlas around barefooted. He's kind of got a foot fetish.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh! No, it wasn't that. He was at he asked about Old Bay, and I'm like, me and Daniel Alexander Dabrowski, we look at each other and we're like, Tony, you've never heard of Old Bay before. Yeah, he didn't know. Well, we made him try it. I don't know how he thought what it was. I don't know how he thought of it. But I can't remember what he thought of Old Bay. But he did try Old Bay seasoning that day, so it was a funny story to tell.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody has a Tony Atlas story. He's whenever people get around him, such a nice guy, a wonderful guy. He's got his own personality though, which is so great. Very cool.
Yeah, especially if you like a lot about like American history, he talks a lot about American history. So, thought that was like U.S. history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
So Luke, you said you're going to have a lot of research to do for this show that's coming up, because there's a lot of guys that we haven't really seen a lot out of, or maybe seen for the first time on the card. So would you like to stick around with us while we do the fans weigh in, and you can get some of that research done?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, because we actually have our fan backstage. I was able to get a fan to come in, so let's go ahead and bring him in, and we can talk about the upcoming show and maybe fill you in on some of that research you got to do here. So let's welcome to the show Matt Pinkston, ladies and gentlemen.
My man Matt.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello. What's going on?
A little bit.
What's up, Matt?
I got a funny story. Luke has actually changed his entryway, and he kind of avoids his rear end when he walks by me because I keep pinching him.
Oh, there he is. I spoke too soon.
Yes, you did.
You're gonna have to take the long way around now, Luke.
Yeah. Gavin, it's late for me, brother. I told John I don't have pants on, so I'm not standing up.
It's all good. None of us have them on.
There you go. Love it. No pants club.
I told him just keep it above the waist.
There we go.
Super cool, Matt. I appreciate you joining us, buddy. Always a pleasure, man. Whenever we get the link up, man. For you guys that don't know, Matt makes it to 99% of the shows, if not 100. He's always sitting front row, right by the aisle. Doesn't miss anything. He's supported us from day one, since he's coming. Like, just a pleasure to have in the crowd. A pleasure to get to know him. Just a wonderful person to be a part of the WDWA family. So thanks, Matt, for joining us here
today.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for putting on a great promotion every week.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We try our best.
Absolutely.
All right, John, lead the way, buddy.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into some of these matches here. And, let's start out with this one right here.
No. So you got Pedro Pablo versus the guy with the supply, Ty Austin.
No. Tyler Hastings.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. Tyler Hastings versus Pedro Pablo.
Yeah.
What you got to say, Luke? What about this one?
I feel like I've heard of Pedro Pablo before. No, I gotta go back and watch some of his matches, but I definitely, the way it looks like those two, like the way it looks like in that card, man. Like I'm thinking that one's gonna be a good match.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this match might be a show stealer. For you guys that don't know Pedro Pablo, he's a part of This Is War with KO Von Du and Ryo. This guy is amazing in the ring. Like, very charismatic, very talented. And the fact that he's going up against Tyler Hastings, like, this match could easily steal the night, guys. What do you think, Matt? What you got your money on?
I tell you, I had to do a little research on the card this time. I looked at the your artwork and some of the new entries for this week, and this one, all I could think about is he has to come out to a P. Pablo song. But I got to go with my man Tyler. I know he's looking for bigger and better things, and he thinks that this is just a speed bump along the way.
Yeah. What about you, Hoss?
After last show, the side of Tyler Hastings that we saw last show, I mean, I ended up with a table in my lap. And I never expected to see that, him manhandle Mr. Grimm the way he did. So I'm going to have to go with Tyler on this one.
What about you, Luke?
As a ring announcer, I'm supposed to stay neutral, but I mean, the way I saw Tyler, like I said, John, you said it. Top, and even Matt too. Matt said, you said Tyler's hungry. Like he's not effing around anymore. He's like, this is me. This is Tyler Hastings. You're seeing the Tyler Hastings side of me. And I that's who I got. I got Tyler Hastings coming, and he's gonna walk out of that ring with his hand raised. So
yeah, I'd say for me, guys, like think about Tyler Hastings. There's so many people were always looking at him as being, oh, he's the flippy guy. He's the light heavyweight guy. But like when you see him get in the ring with guys like Mr. Grimm, and we saw him a couple years back versus Beastman. And you see him get in there, and he's able to hold his own against guys from all shapes and sizes. I just think he's a tremendous athlete and a hell of a wrestler, So, but coming off of that beat down from Grimm, man, I don't know if he's going to be 100%. So I'm going to, I think I might bet on Pedro Pablo on this one, guys.
Okay.
I've seen Pedro. I know how good he is. I'm excited for you guys that don't know him to be able to see him. I'm glad that he's coming to a WDWA ring. We've been talking for quite some time. You guys are going to like this guy.
Okay.
All right. So Gavin's on the island already. So
I'm used to it.
So
you need a lone wolf helm.
So next up, we'll talk here about the Holy Grail qualification match, where we're going to see TJ Price taking on Aristote.
Yes, another great match. We mentioned the three other guys that have already qualified for the Holy Grail, and either one of these guys, both of them, both rookies here in WDWA, both have showed how good they are in the ring, but neither one has had that chance to really showcase, what they have. So this is a huge match for both these guys.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough one, to pick, because both of these guys, from what we've seen of both of them, they're both phenomenal talents, and I just, I don't know who's going to come out on top, because they both are just so exciting to watch.
Yeah, I agree 100%. What about you, Matt? What do you got on this one?
Well, TJ's got a secret weapon, I heard. He's going to bring a full-length mirror into the side of the ring, and Airsight's going to stare at it. He's going to get it.
That sounds like a good game plan.
Yeah, he hasn't seen a mirror he won't stop for.
Yeah, Aristote, he's one of the biggest narcissistic people that we've ever had here in WDWA. He's worked hard for that body too, so I'm sure showing it off, I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going with TJ?
I'm gonna go with the little firecracker.
All right. What about you, Luke?
You know what's funny is that my brother come out to his last show he was at when he was home. I believe it was the opening match. I think was Aristote versus was it Wykeese?
Forte.
Mm-hmm.
It was Fuerte. Yes, it was Fuerte.
That was
so yeah, he was telling me he's like who's that guy that faced the Sigma guy? He's like Sigma Steve. I'm like he looks like he's an athlete. I'm like yeah, like I mean I'd agree with him on that. Like Aristote. I mean, I'm not gonna count out Aristote. I think Aristote's got. But at the same time, I don't want to count out TJ either because TJ's got the heart.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got that heart in you. You gotta. When you're really hungry, you're hungry, and you're gonna try everything you can to win that Holy Grail trophy. So if I really think of it, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with TJ on this one, just because he's got the heart.
All right, John, we got 2 for TJ.
I'm going to TJ.
I think I'm going to take Aristote on this one. Like say, they're both very impressive, and I could see either one of them taking this match. It could go either way, but I think I'm going to go with Aristote.
Yeah, I think both these guys both of them are going to have a good career in this business. I think both of them are great up-and-coming stars and, definitely owning their craft. I'm going to have to go with my boy Aristote. And the reason why I say my boy is, he grew up in the same city as me, went to the same high school, years apart. But, there's not many people that I know that are from there that have gotten into the wrestling business. So yeah, I'll just on that alone, I'll go with Aristote.
Okay.
All right. Another match that we don't know a lot of the competitors that are in it, but we know a few here.
Yeah. So on the right side, you have Osvaldo Montaneres, Chaos, and Ramsey. Ramsey's a big monster, and they're going against AJ Morales, Cisco, and Rayo. So we got 3 guys from Chile and then 3 current WDWA stars, man. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the guys from Chile. I know that they just got to the States not too long ago. They're starting to make their rounds on the East Coast. They're working a handful of companies. I see that they're doing really well. But because I'm not too familiar with them and their work, and I am familiar with the other 3, I'm going to go with the other 3. I mean, Rayo, I talk highly about Rayo here. Cisco, way back, I've been in the ring with Cisco before. Great guy, great talent. And AJ Morales, man, he is, like we just talked about the last match being the future. I mean, that guy is amazing every time he gets in the ring. So I'm going, I think breakout star AJ Morales, and then Cisco and Rayo right there by his side, man, leading the way.
All right. And I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to have to go with that team as well because, just knowing the power just between Rayo and Cisco alone. I mean, that those 2, you putting them together, I'm going to have to go with them.
I think, I know you use the word power, but like I don't know if you meant that as like a strength power or just like the in-ring abilities. Because if you're going with power, the other team they outweigh them. They're bigger, they're stronger. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm still gonna keep my guess, but I mean, don't sleep on the other guys.
Matt, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I again had to do a little deep research on this one. The boys from Chile probably are good from like a tag team perspective, but they got a third element in there. I don't know how much they work with that person. The three WDWA stars, like Gavin said, I think you got an up and coming superstar there. I kind of like that team.
Yeah.
Same here. I remember when AJ Morales had a light heavyweight title match. I think it was like almost like exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
Him versus Just Jay for the light heavyweight title. I still consider that one of the matches of the year last year.
Yep.
Fantastic. That was one of that was actually definitely the light heavyweight match of the year for sure. I just remember how good that match was. I even had a friend. It was actually my youth pastor. He actually come up to me. He's like, who was that? Who was that match? And I'm like, he's like, both of those guys were awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's so he. But I know AJ. I think AJ had gotten hurt he was out with an injury for a little bit. So
yep. Not too long ago.
It's good to see him back. I was wondering where that guy has been. So Osto flies back, and I'm pretty hyped up for him to at least hopefully get the win for his team.
Yeah.
All right.
So we 4 for 4.
Yeah.
All right.
First one.
Let's see here. Next up, we got a grudge match going on. We got Vic going against Bo Ross. Not Victor Jones, not the Cake Boss, just Vic versus Bo Ross. And Vic has one heck of an attitude now. And I tell you, last show we saw Vic choke out Bo Ross and wouldn't let him go.
It was a show before, but yeah, only the strong survive. During the elimination match, Vic could care less whether or not he got the win. He just wanted to cause pain. He's got a big chip on his shoulder here at WDWA. He feels like a lot of people have either stepped over him or stepped past him, and he's a little bitter about that. But he's also been put in situations too where he just haven't been able to succeed. So like, I'm still going to stand tall with the way things have been handled here in WDWA, but I know it's only the beginning of what Vic's going to be bringing to the table. Not to take nothing away from him, but I'm not really digging this new attitude he's got. And with that being said, you can only push an outlaw so much till he starts pushing back, and I think Bo has yet to get his hands on Victor Jones. There's been a lot of other things happening around them, like in the match with multiple people, things like that. I think having this match one-on-one, we're really going to see exactly who's going to be able to stand toe-to-toe between these two guys. But I think I'm going to go with Bo Ross on this one.
All right.
What about you, Luke?
I could definitely say Vic he's mad. He is not a happy guy right now, and he's and when he's mad, he can become dangerous.
Yeah.
In the ring. But sometimes when you get too mad, it could cost you. I'm hoping, I'm rooting for Bo. But I'm not. I'm not gonna down on Bo. Bo's been, he's been pretty good. I mean, I think is he on the winning? I know he had that role. He had that ambulance match against Wraith last year, and
that was a great match.
And some of those guys, they try to interfere, during that match. The other Legion guys, So I mean, I'm not I'm not gonna doubt him, Bo. I think I'm gonna go Bo Ross on this one.
What about you, Matt?
I tell you, Vic's angry because he ain't eating no more. That's the big thing. And I got to beef with Vic because since he stopped eating, his wife stopped bringing those cupcakes, and that's a problem. But all fun aside, Vic's got a different attitude, and I think he was losing matches because he was a little too nice. Not nice anymore. So I think he's going to come out on top here. I saw a little picture of him pushing Mr. Gavin back there around the table a couple weeks ago, and he's mean business now.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like sort of like how like Ty Awesome, I'm tired of doing things for the fans. I'm tired of doing things to get cheered. I need to do things for me. And I think with this new attitude, I think he's going to find a little bit more success as long as, he keeps his hands off me, keeps his hands off the staff. You don't want to dig deeper, but I definitely see where you're coming from. What about you, Mr. Hardcore Halls?
Like we've already said, to Vic, it's not about winning or losing. It's about inflicting pain at this point and showing people that, he's not just a pushover. So, I really like Bo. And I know Bo can only be pushed so far, and Vic has really been pushing it, Bo. But I'm going to have to go with Vic on this one,
Just 2 and 2?
2 and 2.
All right.
So now we got some women's action going on here.
That's right. Aphrodita, also from Chile, going up against Becca Blade. This one's also going to be really good. I've had a chance to check out Aphrodita. She's very entertaining, very good in the ring, able to hold her own against men and women. But we've also seen Rebecca Blade in WDWA, and I always look at her as being like a small little pit bull. She's ground and pound. She's, trying to take your legs out, take you down, and punch you in the face. So she's a little badass on her own. I think I'm gonna have to go with Becca Blade on this one.
Honestly, Rebecca, I think at this point, she's got to be feeling like she's got something to prove at WDWA because she really hasn't been on much of a winning streak at all. She's really been taking some losses and some hits, so I think she's going to come out on top on this one because she's going to want to get on the winning side of things where she hasn't really been in WDWA.
Yep. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Rebecca, I think she's struggling internally with what whether she's a good guy, bad guy. I don't know if she's a face or she's an up and coming star wrestler wise. I don't know this person that she's fighting. I don't know the size element though.
She's a bigger girl.
She's a big girl. She might be a little bit too much, but I think Blade will come out at the end with the hand raised, just by a smidge.
So that's 3. Luke, what do you think, buddy?
I think this is the time where Blade's not playing around anymore. She's ready to win. So I got Rebecca Blade on this one.
Nice. 4 for 4. One thing about Rebecca Blade, she comes out of that MCW camp out of Maryland. Great camp over there. A lot of, fantastic wrestlers that help run that camp. So she has a good group behind her as she trains. So she's definitely getting the right training, definitely around the right people. Matt mentioned, she hasn't really hit her niche yet here in WDWA. John mentioned, she's been losing a lot. This could be the time. Things happen to change. As you grow, things change. All right, John, what do we got next, buddy?
All right, next up, this is basically another grudge match. I mean, it's a handicap match, but it's another grudge match basically between Legion and Axel Crow. We have seen Legion and how they have just been a thorn in Axel's side, and they took him out for a little while, and this is going to be one heck of a fight between these three.
Mm.
Yeah, Axel Crow actually asked for this match. He said, I was tired of looking behind my back all the time. I want these two guys face to face. He requested a handicap match. But anybody that's watched Legion knows, with Dex on the outside, you're not asking for 2, you're asking for 3. And I just think 3 is just too much for any one man to handle. So I'm gonna have to go with Legion on this.
Mm.
But Axel Crow, fantastic. I love having Axel here at WDWA. I think he's doing great. The Legion has really come together as a team. They've been kicking ass. They've been on the same page. Whatever Dex is doing with those guys, he's got them in line. But yeah, I think it's a numbers game here. So Legion all the way.
Mm.
What about you, Luke? You were in there with crazy Legion right next to you, standing in the ring. You feel it?
Yeah, no. So
you just looked over your shoulder to see if somebody was there. I see how real it is.
Right. Yeah. So, Gavin, I have to agree with you on this one. I definitely think the numbers game just don't add up. I feel like right now Axel's a little outnumbered on this one. So, like I said, I like Axel Crow. Don't get me wrong. I've actually thought I think he's a really good wrestler ever since he came into WDWA. He's been all the fans love him, and I think it was definitely a nice pickup we got there. But like I said, I think Legion is now to the point where they're mad and they're sick and tired of, especially getting their noses taken from Axel. I think it's time that I think Legion's gonna take his nose probably and maybe stomp on it. I don't know. It's just like I definitely think I think the Legion gets their hands raised on Saturday.
What about you, Hoss?
I've known Axel for a while. I followed his career before he came to WDWA, and Axel, he's a great guy, and I love Axel. And one thing I can tell you is when it looks like the chips are down against Axel, when it looks like he's outnumbered, you never know what he's going to pull out. And, he always finds a way to come from behind when you think he's down. So I'm going with Axel on this one because I just know Axel well enough to know he's going to have something up his sleeve that you may not realize, more than their noses.
Matt, thoughts?
Yeah, this one's an interesting match. When I first saw this one announced, I was like, okay, this is a little interesting. I think there's an inner conflict with Wright. I think he's trying to figure out whether he's really a guy crawling around the ring or if he's advancing. I think something might happen there, and I think Axel's not stupid. I think he's going to have someone out there in his corner to keep the handcuffs away. I'm going to go with Axel.
Oh, man, 2-2.
2-2, okay.
All right. So we got 2 more matches here to discuss. So let's talk about a little more women's action here.
This is a huge tag match. Very important match to have. As we know, Scarlett Maiden won the Rumble back in January. She does get her shot against Tiffany Grady at our March 28th show. But before they get here, they link up in this tag match, and they have huge partners with them. They have Sis Sasaki, who we've seen, do tremendous things here in WDWA, and Gabby Gilbert, who, I've talked highly about her before and everything she brings to the table, but one of the best on the indie scene. And Gabby and Sis had a huge interaction at the Rumble match, where they eliminated each other. So these girls are looking to throw down. This is going to be a great match.
Mm.
Luke, what do you think?
That's a good question. I definitely I do remember the last time when Tiffany was in a tag match with Keely Capri. They won, and then afterwards, Keely, she did what she had to do. She had to say, I want to come for that title.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you kind of have to do in this business. I feel like, you got to find any way you can to, put yourself out there and say, hey, I want to come for the title. So, but I'm not going to doubt Scarlet Maiden and Sister Stocky. Definitely true warriors in this business. So I'm gonna go with them. I think I'm going with the challenger and everybody's favorite freak. So
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, this is one I'm looking forward to. There was somebody that used to run around WDWA that always used to say "Pretty always wins."
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Scarlett. I like her a lot, and I like Sasaki a lot. I think they're going to be a good tag team, and I don't see the others being a good tag team.
Makes
too much selfishness in that side of the ring.
Yeah, and just like Luke mentioned, the last time you had that, Keely Capri, took the champ out. So definitely could see that. John, what about you?
We all like her. Bring her back.
Yeah, no, definitely. Whenever we could bring Keely back, we love to have her.
Yeah, she's cool.
Honestly, I think I'm going to have to go with Sis and Scarlett on this one. There is just so much ego on the other side of the ring that I can see clashing between them, and I could almost, see somebody walking out the ring just like, I've had enough. I'm done.
Yeah, and don't forget the last time Jason and Sasaki were beat you guys, somebody kissed somebody and got them a little freaked out.
Yeah.
Well, and we still don't know what happened when they went behind closed doors in the back,
And I don't want to know.
Yeah. I mean, I see Curtis walking funny every now and then.
I made mention last show when Sis was in the ring. I said then, that handprint she's got on her butt, I wonder if that's Jason Curtis's handprint tattooed on it.
Ooh.
Uh-oh, handlebars.
Woo.
Yeah, I think for myself, I think all you guys are justified in your points, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Tiffany Grady and Gabby Gilbert. One, Tiffany Grady's been unstoppable. She always finds a way. She's been a champ since last June. She's been able to beat everybody that's been put in line with her. And I think having an equalizer like Gabby, who, if people aren't really familiar with Gabby, I mean, she has had an amazing career. In fact, most women who have made it to like WWE or AEW have gone through Gabby. Gabby's been around for a long time. She has a lot of experience, and it's just hard to bet against her. So I think it's more of a power team. Meaning like they bring a lot of experience to the table, more than I think Scarlett and Sasaki do. So, yeah, I could see them probably clashing because in the end, everybody wants that championship title. But I think for this instance, I think it's going to be a power team, and I think Gabby and Tiffany have it.
All right. Well, speaking of championship titles, that brings us to the final match to discuss here. This is going to be another big match, a heavyweight championship match, where we're going to see Mason Drake versus Mr. Grimm.
Yep. I'll go ahead and start this off, guys. Mr. Grimm. I mean, this guy's he's on his 5th heavyweight championship title. He has been dominant since he's been here in WDWA. I'm not gonna sell Mason Drake short. I think the guy's really good, very talented. I was happy to bring him into WDWA. This will be his 2nd match here in WDWA. I just don't think this is good timing for Mason Drake. You know, I think if he had this match maybe a year or 2 down the line, I think, I might have a different outcome, but it's just too much too soon. And with a guy with a record like Mr. Grimm, it's just hard to bet against him. So I'm going to have to go with Mr. Grimm.
All right, and Gavin, I think I'm going to have to agree with you here. I've seen Mason Drake a few times. Like I say, this is his 2nd official match in WDWA, but I think I've seen him at least 3 now. And
Yep,
he's been quite impressive, but it's Grimm. Come on, how can you bet against Grimm?
Exactly.
yeah, it's a hard gamble.
So,
Matt, Luke, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I tell you, is Grimm all there? There was some serious potential concussion stuff going on in that last match.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say he's probably going to be a little bit wobbly. I love the picture you did of this one. All I could think was just please put a toothpick in. It looks like Razor Ramon.
For Mason Drake?
Yeah. But he ain't Razor Ramon, so I'm going to go with Grimm.
Yeah, well, with those head injuries, I mean, it knocks you silly. It gives you a little bit of vertigo. It's been 2 weeks. Hopefully he's healed up. I haven't really talked to him since. I do know I've texted back and forth, so he's official for the match to confirm that. But yeah, I mean, you could be right, Matt. Man, he could have been knocked, a couple screws loose, and Mason Drake might take advantage of that. What do you think, Luke?
I think Grimm is definitely a dangerous man. I mean, he's going to be hard to beat for a while, and I definitely think, I definitely got Grimm winning it for sure, retaining.
Yeah.
all right, so another one where we are.
My question is, was the video with Austin real, or is he gonna sneak back out into the picture this week?
So last show, what was that? The 21st. Of February, I was actually in the hospital that morning, and I got a call. I got 2 calls. I got one from DeMarcus Kane, telling me about his elbow and how he wasn't be able to compete. And then the call I got after that was Austin Kingsley was in an automobile accident. And that's also why, Austin couldn't come. Tina couldn't come. So yes, the accident was real.
Okay.
So, well, no matter what, it's going to be one heck of a show.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got a heck of a lineup, and I know I'm looking forwards to it. I'm sure you guys are looking forwards to it. I look forwards to, getting to see what these newcomers, what they've got to show us. And it's going to be an interesting night. I'm sure of that much. Yep.
Looking forward to it, guys. Luke, Matt, we appreciate you guys spending your afternoon, whether you have pants on or not. We just love having you guys here. Luke, you do a fantastic job for WDWA. It's an honor to have you on the show, buddy. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep growing, buddy. You're part of the family. Matt, you're a part of the family too. you're there every show, man. You've done nothing but show us love. So just to have you both on this show, means a lot and definitely helps elevate this show to a better place. But even more than that, guys, we will see you this Saturday at
Yes, sir.
WDWA's Tough Luck. Looking forward to it. Matt, I got your text. I'll go ahead and put that request in, for the quantity that you want to reserve. And yeah, John, you want to take us home?
All right. So thank you, gentlemen. It was great to have you here. And so that's another show in the books, and be sure to come out Saturday night, South Berkeley Volunteer Fire Hall. Tough luck. It's going to be one heck of a show. Don't want to miss it. But if for whatever reason you can't, be sure to check us out, on YouTube, Wild Patriot 22. Check out the replay over there. And, just looking forwards to it. So until next show, ladies and gentlemen, we hope to see you and have a good night.
Peace.